So thinking of playing Syntax, Rivoli, 1797, and I'm starting with the basic rules, which is a separate booklet. The rules altogether, we're looking at 12 pages. 12 pages, it's slightly smaller than average font size, but it's really not that dense. It has, relaxed margins all around. So I am really enjoying this and can't really explain why. Now these are just the basic rules, so it's definitely become clear here in the basic rules. Not only are we not even dealing with formations yet, we're not even dealing with facing yet. So very basic, but it still seems to be a good place to start. So thinking of playing and working through these basic rules. Again, I set up the basic game. So interestingly, the basic game rules here have their own setup section. I don't know how that differs from the full rules, because the full rules include a separate Rivoli battle booklet with scenarios in there. So I assume that those are different. So I set up the whole battlefield per the basic rules, but I'm ignoring the rest of the battle. I'm just concentrating on this area here, basically between Case Rovina to this Lubiata, back to what is that? Gambaron. So this area here, basically it's the center part of the eastern or northeastern map edge, which is just off the screen here. And I'm just concentrating on Joubert's first line here and the Austrian third column, which is led by this leader right here. General Major Kublus, third column. All right, so again, to exercise the rules, I'm going to get these forces into contact, and we should be able to start some artillery fire, ranged fire, and then close combat. I want to deploy some light companies, and want to figure out how I unlimber artillery. So we'll start off this turn, second turn of my little demo game here. And so I'm going to review initiative, the initiative phase. Okay, so I'll just continue to work through this. So starting with the initiative phase, each player rolls a die. The Austrians rolled a 9, but the French rolled a 10. And but going through this, I saw something. The rules also say that if one player's army commander is stacked with his army headquarters and the opposing army commander is not, then the first side automatically wins the initiative. Well, I guess by definition, the French automatically get the initiative because Napoleon is, where is he? There he is. See, Napoleon over here is stacked with, so here's Napoleon's headquarters. Here is Napoleon, right? Here's Berthier. So Napoleon is stacked with his headquarters, whereas was it Alvinci? Alvinci is not even on the map. His headquarters is Alvinci's headquarters is right. Where is it? well, still off the map up here. So his headquarters is up there, but he's not even on the map yet. So doesn't that mean by definition the French satisfy that requirement to automatically win the initial? I'm going to do that because that's what I just went over. So, all right, French automatically have the initiative. So then we go to this what still seems to be a very important step 2. Well, at least it's important for the basic game. I don't know that this is even going to play in the full rules, but for the basic game, this step 2. So both players may now deploy a friendly head. We're not going to deploy. By the way, here's another thing. I'm wondering what deploy actually means in game terms. Does that mean bringing a headquarters from off map onto map? Well, I'm assuming that. I haven't seen that spelled out, but I'm assuming that that's what deploy means in this case. So I'm not bringing any headquarters onto the map because I'm just playing with these forces right here on the battlefield, so I'll just skip that. Now the player... See, the player who won the initiative may try to move an already deployed headquarters. Does that mean... I guess that means that because Alvinci... See, if Alvinci's not on the map... Oh, and Napoleon stays with his headquarters. That seems to mean that the Austrians will never get the initiative. And so the Austrians will never be able to move these their headquarters units. So they are very static. So if you do not get the initiative, you are very static. Seems that way anyways. Well, that's what it seems like for now. It's not going to make much difference in this little case here. But I guess the French are going to go after the Austrians because the Austrians aren't going to be moving, I think. I mean, line units, regular units are not going to be moving more than 6 hexes from this headquarters, if I remember correctly. Light units and some others aren't going to be moving more than 8. So 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 and 6. So, yeah, okay, I guess that's what... So, in any case, the French side wants to move that Joubert's first line headquarters forward again. Yeah, I think I want to move it. It's funny, I want to move it there, but actually I guess I should move it here. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. I want to move Joubert's first line headquarters here, forward 3 hexes to here. Okay, we'll look at doing that. So, like the previous practice turn, Napoleon is stacked with his headquarters off the map there. His command value printed on the back of his counter is a 9. French have the initiative, so the French can try to move. It says move N already deployed headquarters. That sounds like 1 at a time, 1 per turn. Again, that seems to really... That's going to really... Well, that would seem to really control the tempo of operations here. Yeah, anyways. So it says attempt to move N already deployed headquarters. So requirements are fulfilled. French player rolls a 3, which is good. This is well under Napoleon's 9. The moving headquarters here is actually commanded by Joubert. But Joubert is not stacked with the headquarters, so I have to add 4 to this die roll. So that's 7, which is still under 9. So the French still successfully can move the headquarters. So I can move the headquarters forward like that. So that is step 2 of the initiative phase. Now we'll go on to the operations phase for the French. Well, starting with the French. All right, so again, I'm going to activate Vial's brigade here in the front. And as mentioned before, the French have the ability to, well, essentially move by demi-brigade. That is, these two units have to stay adjacent. Yes, and these two units have to stay adjacent. But all four of them, which together make up Vial's brigade, do not have to stay contiguous. Now I'm kind of back to the same questions I had last time. And I checked again, I reviewed quickly again. This terrain up here on top of Monte Magnone here, it doesn't look exactly like the rough terrain or broken ground shown on the terrain effects chart, but this graphic pattern looks more like broken ground than anything else on the terrain effects chart. So, okay, I'm just going to treat it as broken ground, but still, okay, so this is all broken ground up here. This is, I guess that's broken ground. So it's broken ground up here and down the steep slope. It's broken ground. Nowhere in the basic rules does it have any of the kind of the standard, roads and trails, negate other terrain, blah, 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 because I don't think that these guys, ignoring the trail, I don't think they can move across this terrain. I think it's too rough, but there is a trail here. Doesn't say anything. I'm just going to go ahead and play it kind of the war game standard of, I guess, they can, no, anyways. I'm going to go ahead and play they're moving along the trail. I'm really not sure about that, though. But I'm going to play it like this because I want to see how the full rules deal with all this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the whole thing about staying contiguous is, so you're moving by brigade. French can move basically by demi-brigade. The first unit moves. Everybody else who falls under this restriction, like this is a regular line infantry unit, 1, 2, 3, 4, has to end adjacent to the first unit. And if there were more, they all follow. Again, light troops, fortifications, divisional units, and the guides, Napoleon's guides on the French side, are not affected by this rule. Okay, so they moved. This is one demi-brigade. They moved. They ended adjacent or contiguous. Leave it at that. Terrain effects chart says 1 for the trail. Trail for infantry. They have movement value of 6. They use 4 to do that. Now I wonder if I would still add 1. Yeah, see, I just don't know. Would I add 1 for going down that elevation change? Is it even an elevation change? Yeah, it must be. Anyways. These particulars aren't important for this little rules exercise. Okay. So the next demi-brigade, now we're going to get some action here, or not action, going to close the range again. So I wonder, I have no idea what the influence of this village or town is going to be on combat, so let's just try it. So 1, and then, well, it's 1. Actually, I think it's 3/4. Yeah, it's 3/4 along the track, so that's a track there. So 3/4. Now, back to the terrain interpretation. This, I believe, is supposed to be a slope but not a crest, despite the fact that unfortunately they kind of seem to use the same, or essentially the same, graphic here. Slope, crest. Slope, crest. I don't know how to interpret that. Again, maybe the full rules will make that all clearer. So what is this? Because the hash marks are within the hex, doesn't seem to be like a hex side terrain. Oh well, I'm not sure. In any case, I think they can move there. And then 3/4, and then again, he's on the road, but it's also a town. I don't know, but I'm sure he can move 2 hexes. He's moving along the track anyways. Yeah. All right, so that would be the French, whatever you want to call it, brigade operation or activation. So for the Austrian brigade activation, again, this is all one brigade with some attachments, pioneers, artillery attached. Basically, I guess I'm going to, again, for demonstration purposes, I'm going to basically hold the line here. I want to deploy some light companies, and I want to unlimber some artillery, keep some artillery limbered, and unlimber some of this artillery back here. Okay, so I guess to unlimber this artillery unit here is going to take its full movement allowance. So actually I need to adjust the lines first, because not counting different elevations, these units are going to block line of sight, line of fire for the artillery here. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust the Austrian line here so their artillery can get up, but well, I don't think they're going to be unlimbering this turn. Well, let's realize that these Austrian units don't have intrinsic light companies. So that's that. Move the pioneers up here, up on this little knoll, which is also wooded. Move the artillery unit, move this artillery back here to take advantage of the heights here. Move the commander, the leader, back here into some woods here with an infantry unit, and move the artillery unit up here stacked with the infantry unit there. But yeah, no Austrian light companies with this force. So for Joubert's 2nd Brigade here, moved him up with an infantry unit so that he is co-located with his headquarters, and now he's got a line here, and second Demi Brigade back here with the artillery moving up. I don't think the artillery had enough movement points to get to this heights here. Take advantage of the elevation this turn. Just to reiterate about the whole limbering and unlimbering of artillery, the wording in the rules, the basic rules here, is a little unusual, or at least not how I would expect it to be worded. But I think what they're saying is, for these, I think all of the artillery that we are going to be concerned with here is foot artillery. So I think what the rules are trying to say is that all these foot artillery units here, it takes their whole movement allowance to limber, and their whole movement allowance to unlimber. So it costs full movement allowance to limber or unlimber. So that's basically all they're doing for a turn. Okay, yeah. 15-minute, I was wondering about the turns. 15-minute turns, that makes perfect sense. 15 minutes to limber or 15 minutes to unlimber. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, we're just going to move right on to the next turn. I think the same reasoning applies again. The French are just going to automatically get the initiative. And I was wondering, and I don't have an answer here, as I was reading these rules, I was thinking, especially when you play the big full battle, how am I tracking who's already activated? Now I'm thinking, I guess I could flip these over, because I don't think these, you know, front and back, I don't think they mean anything. So I guess when I'm done, I could flip it over, and then at the end of the turn, flip them all back over. See if that works later. Here, of course, not an issue. Okay, so the French, I am not going to attempt to move the headquarters. So I'm going to go right to the operations phase. Now I'm going to, well, I actually have to do these in order, don't I? So first, so I don't think they're, okay, so there is no firing that I can see. So again, activating VL's front brigade there. So I'm skipping step 1. No firing. Step 2. Okay, so now we're getting to some more stuff. So step 2 of the operations phase for Vial's brigade. Active units and leaders which did not fire in step 1 may move. Okay, I've been doing that. Active light companies and horse artillery units which did not fire in step 1 may do so anytime during this step, or move and fire if they do not move into the ZOC of a good order enemy cavalry, okay, unlimited artillery or light companies. So does that mean that I can deploy a light company from this battalion into the town here and fire, because this is just regular old infantry. It's not good order enemy cavalry, unlimited artillery, or a light company. Kind of looks like that. So I'm gonna get the light company there, move it. Okay. So here's the light company of the 117 battalion of Vial's brigade there. It has a movement allowance of 6, same as the parent battalion. Moving in the town is 3 movement points, like that. And then it says be fired any time during this step. So let's see. So now I'm going to look at the fire rules and see if I can actually get some fire here. Okay, as far as I can tell, the light company here satisfies all combat criteria. And so I think he can fire. So obviously Austrian units in his ZOC. So I'm going to roll. Okay, I'm going to roll 1 die. Got a fairly average 6. So let's see how this works. 6. Add that to the firepower value. Or is it firepower value? Oh yeah, it's not this. It's just 1. Because cavalry, light companies, and disrupted units have a firepower of 1. The units in the target hex must perform a morale check on an adjusted die roll of 10 to 14, and then higher than that we get losses. So because of the firepower of 1 for light company, Oh, I need to roll a 9 or 10. Okay. Yeah. So, not very likely that anything's going to happen. Okay, under these circumstances. Well, we had our first fire, but not very likely to have any effect. So 6 plus 1 for the firepower of 1 light company is 7, which is not even close to the 10 to 14 required to at least get a morale check on the target units, actually. Okay. And it seemed like a good idea to go ahead and deploy another light company from the other battalion of the 17th Demi Brigade up here on this flank. And that is it for... Oh, well, actually, I guess that battalion's going to come forward. Like that, okay. And now I'll handle the other Demi Brigade from Viel's brigade. So I hope I'm not getting carried away with my light units here, but from the other Demi Brigade, it seems to me that, for example, the second or 2-4 here in the front, I don't see why it can't deploy its light company, move forward 2. So now they're basically shooting down this steep slope, although in the basic games I don't see that this does anything, but and then 1-4 deploys its light company and moves forward, so they're together and they're both basically pouring fire down. Actually, I guess I probably should have yeah, players cannot fire twice at the same target hex during the same step. There's an exception about infantry and artillery, but I guess I should have moved all those. This should have moved all those light units up and fired together. I guess I should have. Okay, all right. Then I'll move the rest of the Demi Brigade up, and I guess we would. Oh yeah, I guess we would move right to. I'll leave it off there. Got some first fire. Yeah, I'll leave it there.